So it's maybe sounds like a big deal, like it's hard to do, like how can I double my profits? I mean, especially for a business maybe that's been going for a long time. How do we make that happen? And in reality, there's these 7 different building blocks that we're going to talk about today, that if we look at each one of those and do a little bit on each one, we'll see that there is an opportunity to have a dramatic impact on the overall profitability of any business. And so I'd like to start with this business model. And it doesn't matter whether you're the school store or whether you're IBM or Microsoft or any big company, this kind of model applies to really any business. And these are the 7 things that we're going to talk about. So I just want to briefly describe it, but then we'll go into more detail on each one. So the first thing is getting contacts, leads, referrals, sort of visits from prospects, people that have never visited your business before, getting them to visit you for the first time. And then the second one is visits from existing customers. So we have existing people that we work with, and how do we get them, more of them to buy? Visits from past customers. And then if we multiply that, the number of people visiting us, so that could be walking into a store, that could be clicking online to visit our website, that could be multiple things, but people visiting us, if we multiply that by the percentage of those that buy, that's what gives us our total transactions in a business. And if we multiply those transactions by what's our average dollar sale that we're selling to them, that gives us our revenue. And then if we multiply the revenue by our gross margin percentage, that'll give us our gross profit. If we subtract out our fixed costs, that's how we get to net profit. So we're going to talk today about each of these 7 things and how they impact improving our net profit. So the first thing is, how do we attract new business? So you're welcome. How do we increase the number of visits from prospects? And the big difference here is benefits-focused marketing. Does everybody know what that means? We talk about benefit-focused marketing.
No, I'd like you to go over that.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of when you look at the marketing material you might be currently using or reading marketing material from others, is there a real benefit for the client in that, or does the marketing suffer from what we call sort of me-itis? Does it pass the so what test? Are we just talking about us and what we do and all our great capabilities and how smart we are and how great our products are and how long they last and all that stuff? Or do we talk about what's in it for the customer? What benefit do they get out of it? If I'm selling if I'm selling this device, I could talk about the materials or the durability or something, or I could talk about how easy it makes to do a presentation and how that would help somebody save time or do a better presentation. Or I could talk about, if I'm selling an iPod, I could talk about how many gigabytes and terabytes and how the chip speeds and all that kind of stuff. Or I could say, oh, this thing can save 10,000 songs or 500 movies or something, which would be more what the benefit is to the client as opposed to just the features around it. So it's this moving from talking about features to talking about benefits. A couple of other ideas. There are things like referral reward programs, independent networking strategies. So, implement different networking strategies. So getting out, meeting other people with your business. The identifying an untapped market or niche. Maybe there's a place that you haven't been. Maybe there's something else that where we could also bring our business. So seeking out strategic alliances, and I think this is also a very big one that a lot of companies that helps an awful lot of companies be more successful, is finding out other businesses that have the same customer base, but are not competing with them, but where they can share the leads. So the key success on attracting new business, on finding new people to come visit your company, and this is this first issue, is really having clearly at least 10 different clearly benefit-driven strategies. Marketing strategies going at all times. So most businesses should be looking at okay, what are the things I'm doing right now? Do I have at least 10 things going on that are really benefit driven, that are really going to get the word out of why they should buy me over the competition? Is it differentiated? Is it... The next one is, and that's why I gave you the, did I give you the other hand? Yeah, you have both handouts. So the overall chart to take a look at. The number 2 on there is existing customers. So how do we get existing customers to keep coming back into the store? And the big difference here, the big, what makes it happen or not, is establishing two-way communication. So how much do we stay in touch with our existing customer base? How much do they know about what we're doing? You talked earlier about wanting to introduce new products and into the store. So how often do we communicate that to them? Do they know that? Do we have a channel, an open link of communication with them? Number 3 is, what about past customers? And the big difference here is find out the real reason that they left and fix it. Or don't fix it if you don't want them to come back. I mean, sometimes there are past customers that are past customers for a good reason, and maybe they were not in your target market. Maybe they weren't just a good fit for your products and services, so it's fine that they're past customers. But if you lost them, but you really want to get them back, like geez, that was a target customer, how could I have lost them? Well, find out why they left. And a good customer service system should always have some kind of feedback mechanism built into it, and that's what we were just talking about with the two-way communication with existing customers. Do I have a feedback system? Do I know what it is? Can I determine what it is that's causing them not to come back? Why are they leaving? What are the reasons behind that? And is there something I can do to improve my customer service delivery to fix that, to change that situation, so that I don't lose them, or that I can win them back? So the next thing I want to talk about is, how do we increase the percentage that buy? This is a conversion ratio, they call this. There's a lot of different names for this, but so this is the getting people from, so they were a lead. So the first thing we talked about was just getting them to want to talk to you, just getting them to walk into the shop, or just getting them to give you a call or send you an email saying, I'm interested in learning about what your business does. I'm interested in the services that sound so great to me because the benefits are fantastic. How do I get them to actually become a paying client? And the key difference here is having a system for selling. So do you have a flow-charted process? Do you know exactly what the steps are going from, that includes scripts, but going from diagnosing what the client needs are, what their budget is, how they make decisions in their organization, what the timing is for their decision, and whether or not they're committed to wanting to work with you, right? Do you have a process to kind of follow through, also tracking leads from the very beginning of the process, just interested, to warmer leads, to ones you're processing, to ones that are either become clients or somehow drop out of the system? So, and even in the retail environment, we need a selling system, right? So we need to think about, once I have somebody that's potentially interested in buying something, how do I approach them? What do I say to them? What are ways of getting them engaged with the products that we have that would help them make a more informed choice, so that they feel good about themselves buying something? Because people only buy if there's a pain, right? They need to have some pain, and if there's enough pain, then they buy. If there's no pain, they don't buy. So, and the pain is the gap between where I am and where I want to be. So if I really want to buy that new iPhone, that causes me a lot of pain. And until I, can afford it, or I can get to it, or somehow I want to close that gap. Okay, go ahead.
But don't people, I totally agree with that pain thing, because if there isn't a catalyst, but isn't there also another piece that everybody wants to have what everybody else wants? The inference piece of the puzzle is huge.
Well, that's pain, isn't it?
That's the pain.
That's the pain.
Oh, I
So
didn't
you
even
all
think about
have
that
it.
way.
I don't have it. I really want it. That's
Oh,
a
I
lot of.
didn't even
I'm
think
under
about it that
pain.
way.
Now it's called peer pressure, right? It's weighing on me very heavily. Everybody else, I hear that all the time at home, right? Everybody has one of those. Yeah, well, I want names. That's what I always ask. Okay, I want names too. Everybody means who? Does she have it? No, she didn't have it. Does he have it? No, he didn't have it. Does she? Oh, okay. So everybody has it except for all the people that I know. Okay. But, so that's the pain again. So people will buy if there's a pain. If you're selling to people, you need to discover what the pain is. You need to uncover that in the process. Right? Increasing the average dollar sale. So, got those clients, but I want to have more. Because if you look at the model, right? So now I have that many transactions, but if I can sell each one of those transactions a higher amount, that also has a big impact on my profitability. So, what are different ways to do that? One of the big differences, well, just upsells and add-ons. What else can I sell them? So they're interested in product A, but there's a complementary product B and C that can I sell that to them also? Can I get them to be a bigger client? Maybe if they're investing money, maybe it's, can I get all of their assets as opposed to just this one part of it? This one piece of their business, can I expand it to more? So some other strategies are maybe exclusives and specials to the target market. All right. So these are things, because when I'm marketing and when I'm selling, I'm always thinking about who is really my target market. One of the big mistakes that a lot of companies make, especially small businesses, is that they think, geez, if I too narrowly define my target, then I'm going to miss all these opportunities off in the wings, and my business is going to shrink. And in actual fact, it's almost always the opposite case. The more I narrow my focus, the more I become an expert in that particular space, the more it will attract the target that I'm really looking for. Because those people will see me as the go-to person for that kind of a solution. I can charge more, I can have a better business with a higher margin. So the trying to be all things to all people strategy never works. I mean, even Coca-Cola, the largest brand in the world, has a target market, right? So you can't be all things to all people. So it's about having that focus, becoming that expert, having people really appreciate, that's what we do, that's what makes us special. I want to go to that particular place to buy this because I know they're going to be able to help me the most in that area, and not just be totally a generalist. You're not going to. Then it becomes more of a commodity. They're just going to be shopping on price as opposed to looking for expert advice, product selection, knowledge of the industry, knowledge of their problems, their pains. You speak their language, all those kinds of things. So the next thing is number 6, so increasing gross margin. So that was, so far we've talked all about getting more, getting higher revenue, right? Because that all drove down, if you look at the model. Up until now, we're talking about getting to revenue. So what about gross margin? So the big one here is increasing the prices. And now everybody's thinking, duh, right, can't increase the prices. But it is amazing to me to see how many business owners undervalue their offerings. They just think, well, people really aren't going to want to pay that. And if you take a look at the amount of additional profitability you get from raising prices and compare it to, depending on your margin, to what you can afford to lose to get back to the break even, it is really shocking to see that most of the time you can easily raise prices and you're not going to lose, you're not going to lose more customers and end up losing money in the process. So a lot of businesses are afraid to do it, but it's something that we often need to, because we think, we have to compete on price. When we're not competing on price, if we're doing all the other things we said and really providing good quality service and good products, and we're focused on the benefits to the client, we don't have to also be the lowest price out there to have business. Finally is the fixed costs. So, and the big thing here is reviewing of the overhead. So many businesses get kind of stuck in paying the same amounts every month, the same amount for their telephone bill, their utilities, for their marketing. We talked a lot about getting stuck in a rut on using antiquated marketing strategies because we haven't reviewed them. We haven't really taken a close look at what does all that spend really make sense. I mean, we're spending all this money every month. Is it bringing us the value it should? And one way to get around this is have a regular review of all of our expenses, all of our systems. Are we using the most efficient means of getting done what we need to get done? You know, are there ways to say, anybody have any ideas of things like that that come to mind? Places where we could save?
Go paperless.
Yeah, paperless is one. That's a good example. Yeah. And change your payroll company. Take Patty's. You know. Right. So, you know, how does this all really work? You know, what does this all really mean for us? How can this kind of work? Well, the big difference is continuous improvements over time create large results. It's not about doing one big thing and expecting everything to happen because on one initiative. It's working on all these levels a little bit at a time. Each day, each week, having a plan laid out, working through. That's why I ask people to put some ideas down as an action plan with some due dates. I don't know if you had a chance to do too many of those, but come up with some thoughts. What can I do on each one of these? And I'm just going to do a little example here of an example company that has 1,000 visits from prospects and 3,000 from existing customers. And if we just take all these numbers, these are all the categories we just talked about, and if we just increase each one of those numbers by 10%, so I'm going to get 10% more leads, I'm going to get increase my conversion rate by 10%. So I think we can all agree 10% is a marginal improvement in any part of our business, right? If you just get 10% more. So what strategies can I do to add 10%? And that's the key to doubling the profitability. So if we only made a 10% improvement on each one of these areas, in this particular example, we double the profit of the company.